Hey everyone, welcome to another virtual program brought to you by Pamunkey Regional Library. My name's Ace. I work out at the King and Queen Branch Library, and today we're going to be learning how to make a very simple cheese. Cheeses can get really complex using different types of bacteria. Today we're going to be using just lemon and milk to make our cheese. So cheese is made by adding a bacteria or something acidic to milk. The bacteria or acid causes the protein in milk called casein to huddle together in tiny clumps. These tiny clumps are what we call the curds, and then the liquid left behind is what we call the whey. So the ingredients we're going to need today are milk, and we're just going to be using 4 cups of whole milk. We're going to need a lemon, and you can use lemon juice as well that you get in a bottle. We're going to need a measuring cup to measure our 4 cups. We're going to need a tablespoon to measure our lemon juice. And then we're also going to need some cheesecloth. So after the curds and the whey separate, we're gonna separate them using the cheesecloth. So the curds will stick to the cheesecloth, and then the whey will go right through it. So we're also gonna need a large bowl, and then we're gonna need a stovetop, and then some type of pan that will fit 4 cups. And you can scale this up as you'd like. We're just making kind of a small batch, get our feet wet and have some fun. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is measure out our 4 cups into our pan. And here we have our whole milk. There's 1. 2. 3, 4. Okay, then we're going to turn our stove on. So we want to just slightly boil our milk. So I'm going to put it on medium high heat. Once the milk starts boiling, it can boil over really fast, so you just want to keep an eye on it. And then depending on the stove, it could take about 10 to 20 minutes. So the cool thing about this cheese that we're making today is it's kind of an old form of cheese. Back in the day when the farmer used to go out to milk his cow, they would milk it into a bucket and then just add some lemon to the bucket and let that bucket sit out for the rest of the day. They would come back in the afternoon after milking in the morning, and then their curds and whey would be separated, and then they would just take their curds and eat that fresh for dinner that night. So now cheese can get really complex using different types of bacteria, and depending on the bacteria that you use, you can that's the different cheese outcome that you'll have. So you have your sharp cheddar, you have brie, you have your blue cheese. So all those are different types of bacterias that cheesemakers use to make the cheese. So what we're going to do is let this boil. And once I start seeing bubbles, I'm going to probably turn down the temperature a little bit. And then, because we don't want it to overflow out of the pan, which it can do really quick. Okay, so our milk has been boiling for about 10 minutes now, and I can see that there's bubbles around the outside, and I can really tell that it's about to boil. So we're gonna turn the heat down to low, and now we're ready to add our acid, and this is where all the magic happens. So we're gonna take our lemon, just gonna cut it in half. Then we're going to take our tablespoon and we're going to measure out a single tablespoon. That's all we need for 4 cups of milk. So I'm just going to squeeze that in here. And it's not an exact science. If you go over a little bit, it's no problem. Okay, and we're just going to dump that right in. There we go. Now I'm going to stir it a little bit. Mix it all in there. And now I'm going to move the camera so we can get a close-up of all what's happening in here. Okay, so this part just takes about a minute or two, and you'll slowly start to see the curds and the tiny clumps forming and separating away from the whey. You can see it already starting to happen. So we're just going to leave this here for about a minute. See if we pick it up. You can see that's our curds, which is going to be our cheese. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes now, and then the amount of milk that you used, the amount of cheese that you get is going to be a very small amount. So it looks like we're about done, and we'll move on to our next step. Okay, so we had our milk boiling with the lemon for about 2 minutes. I can see my curds in there. Now we're going to shut this off. And now you might want a grown-up to help you with this part, because we do want to be very, very careful, because this is very hot milk and can burn you very easily. So we're going to take our cheesecloth, and this is pretty much just some type of cloth with very small holes in it so we can catch our whey. And we're going to take our large bowl, and we're just going to put our cheesecloth over the bowl. And now we're going to take our hot milk and pour it into our bowl very carefully. And as you can see, our curds are plopping right in there. There we go. And now we're just going to let that sit for probably about 45 minutes. Let it completely cool down. Let our curds cool down, our whey cool down, and then we'll go ahead and lift the cheesecloth out and separate it, and leaving our whey in the bowl, and then our curds in our cheesecloth, which will be our cheese. Okay, so here we are about an hour after we poured our curds and whey into the cheesecloth and bowl. So it's nice and cooled down. It's got a cool touch to it, so we know we can separate it. And all we're going to do is lift the cheesecloth slowly out. And as you can see, we got our curds clinging to it. And we're just going to clump it into a ball. See it drain in there, and we're just going to twist the cheesecloth. Try to get all that liquid out of it. So we're just left with a nice dry product, which will be our cheese ball. Squeeze it tight.
Okay.
And we'll open it up. go. Got a nice cheese. Put that onto a plate. And scrape it off. And then you can use the leftover whey. It's high in protein, and you can use that for various things like milkshakes and stuff. That's where whey protein comes from. And then you can put it on some bread. You can crumble it on a salad, or the whole lot of things you can do with it, or you can just eat it straight up. Yum. It's got a little bit of a lemony flavor, nice cheese flavor. Cool. And I hope y'all enjoyed this program and learned a little bit about cheese. This was just a very basic cheese. If you wanted to explore more into it, we do have some cheese making books here. If you wanted to take a step up from this, I would recommend making a mozzarella next, and then you can kind of go deeper and deeper into cheeses. Hope you all had a good time. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.